Once again, logic has won out. Every day I feel the same question. Are you getting worried about Aiyuk? Are you getting worried about Aiyuk? Is Aiyuk going to get traded? This dog picture account told me Ayuk's going to get traded. What do you think? You don't think it's going to happen? No. Brandon Aiyuk was never going to be traded. Logic has prevailed. We had a Super Bowl contending team with an old offensive roster that had a 26-year-old wide receiver who is literally one of the best wide receivers in football. You don't trade that player. Give me a break. Brandon Aiyuk signed a $120 million contract with the 49ers. This is why you should get your advice here and not from dog picture accounts. My name is Liam Murphy. Thanks for being here. Best Ball Mania 5 will fill today. Less than 25,000 entrants until it is filled. We got over 25,000 yesterday. And of course, today is Friday, so fill rate will be faster. Good morning. Aiyuk bags are safe. You got it. I got a lot of Aiyuk. I just think he is legitimately one of the best wide receivers in football. I think his talent level is on par, if not just below, A.J. Brown. That's what you're getting when you draft Brandon Aiyuk. And that's a bet I want to be making. So we pulled the 109 here. Let's get A.J. Brown. Grown-ass man. Aiyuk on, yeah, I'm sure on DK you could get Aiyuk in the 4th. I have some Aiyuk in the 4th on DK. Yep. Aiyuk, one of my favorite talents. One of my favorite teams to bet on. 49ers. And yeah, their playoff schedule is really nutted. I wrote about this a while ago, but Rams, Miami, Detroit, you're going to need a 49er to win this year. Does this affect Debo's redraft ranking? I'll have a ranking update later today. Just some minor things. Mostly the Aiyuk thing. Not really going to move Debo down, but just going to put Aiyuk right behind Debo. Aiyuk goes right behind Debo just because of ADP. So Aiyuk fell to the 3rd quite a bit, but I don't even mind my 2nd round Aiyuk shares because it's really just a straight up 1v1 of a 2nd round player versus a 3rd round player, which is the same range. So it's like, okay, A.J. Brown, Aiyuk plus, whatever. We'll just say Tank Dell, Mike Evans, or A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, Aiyuk. Similar bets. You may prefer one, but not as wild as like a Rashee Rice, for example. Wow. I mean, we were kind of planning to go Aiyuk, but I think we'll go Gibbs. He doesn't always fall to the 16 anymore, so I don't think I have any A.J. Brown Gibbs starts. Passed on Aiyuk and makes you sick, brother. Do you not watch the channel? Getting Pickens cheap was fun. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't really want to be betting on Pickens. I think that passing offense is going to be frustrating / bad. But I don't want anything to do with Pickens in the 4th. In the 5th, yeah, I'll take some Pickens. I'll have to race him a little bit in the ranks too. I only lowered him to Bacon ADP. We got him pretty buried though. Because like, yeah, give me Xavier Worthy over Pickens. Give me Terry. Give me Jaden Reed. I would rather have Roma Dunze than George Pickens. If you just got here ripping some Best Ball Mania 5s, the contest I won in its second edition. Trying to build the winner, if we haven't already. Sad we only have 1 week of draft season left. Don't be sad, Brian. In-season content will be starting. We'll be doing, DFS content. I'll have content looking at my best ball bags. A lot of people like to say goodbye to best ball. I think best ball is a game you can sweat throughout the year and learn from. And of course, we'll have some draft content, some daily draft. Roam over Pickens and redraft? I would. Liam isn't right on his calls. Honestly, Mulder, I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, we got a lot right this year. Samaje Perine to the Chiefs. Obviously, that was just me looking at the situation logically and being like, I don't really think the Bengals need Samaje Perine. Doesn't make any sense. I don't think Samaje Perine will go crawling back to a team now that they signed his replacements and probably told him, sorry, you'd be the third, if that. And I looked at the Chiefs roster and I was like, well, they need a Jerick McKinnon replacement. And that's what some of these aggregator accounts are doing, by the way. Some like this dog picture account, Ricky or whatever. They're just looking at things logically and pretending they have sources. People do this all the time. Like if I had written sources tell me, and then I just start saying the things I have logically, I could dupe a lot of people on Twitter. Do I want to do that? Of course not. Let's go Tank. Mr. Dell. Another very talented player. What 17th plus 18th rounders do you like? Well, Ian, you can find out my rankings and for the fact that I wrote up every team's roster yesterday. I looked at the roster and I wrote some deep cuts. I wrote an article a while ago about players to take dart throws on before training camp even started. Guys like Trey Tucker made it on this list before he was being drafted. He got hyped yesterday. Hurts, Flowers. It's always fun to try to go Flowers in the spot and just hope Lamar makes it back. Let's do it again. ETN also fun. Someone had me on one of their streams and we did that. I was like, he's like, let's go Hurts. I was like, no, let's go Flowers. And then Lamar did make it back. Yeah, we didn't get every call right here. But we got some good calls here. Trey Tucker and co. Malik Washington. Nelson Aguilar. I mean, Nelson Aguilar is just a starting wideout for the Ravens. Liam, you're completely cutting out. Is this other people's experience? Don't feel stupid about it, FF Garage, but just remember what I've been preaching here. Just yesterday I said, if you fade the FUD, always, you're generally going to come out on top. Are you sometimes going to have some bad experiences? I'm sure you could, but man, the list is long of FUD to fade. A couple years ago, Tyreek pushed a guy to dock. That made him fall. Faded. Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers trade that was never going to happen. Fade that. Jonathan Taylor started falling after Carson Wentz got banged up at practice, made him fall, faded that. If you faded Rashee Rice this year, you were super happy. The FUD on him. If you faded Aiyuk FUD, you were happy there. If you faded contract issues with CeeDee Lamb, you're happy there. Guess what I think you should do about the Jamar Chase contract FUD? Guess what I think you should do about the Puka Nacua fake injury FUD? Once you're done with BBM5, is it just DK? Definitely DK, and then the marathon, and then whatever more high stakes entries I'm going to get in. I want to get in these low stakes, especially because there's overlaying spots, but there's some high stakes that may overlay. So might get some couple more in there. So we didn't get Lamar, we didn't get Hurts. That's fine. You know, it's like a 1% thing, but it happens. Let's go Cook. I think that's a pretty fun pairing. Gibbs and Cook. Gibbs and Cook, Gibbs and Achane, Cook and Achane. These are the running backs we want to be betting on. Young, pass-catching running backs who are explosive. If you appreciate this content, make sure to like the video, subscribe. I'm on the road to 6K. And the link to join my Discord is in the YouTube description below. Yep, Anthony Richardson FUD should probably fade. James says 30% Aiyuk, never doubt. Yes, I was worried all week. Hey, James, that's fine, brother. I wanted Rome on the wrap. Didn't happen. I wouldn't be doing this with Pickens. I mean, if you wanted, like, I'm going to be wrong on some things. So if you have high conviction on Pickens, go for it, you know? Let's see here. Let's go Kittle with Gibbs. Get a little bit of week 17 correlation there. 49ers play the Lions. I could, Russ supported Cortland Sutton last year. Couldn't he do that with George Pickens? Fields supported DJ Moore. Couldn't he do that with George Pickens? Of course. But I don't know, man. Just seeing the O-line getting like thrashed in the preseason and Russ's age and Fields' abilities and just like how lucky DJ Moore kind of ran last year and how lucky George Pickens ran, like that's always going to be how George Pickens pays off, where he runs down the field, a defender's draped all over him, but he's just a talented player, so he's going to come down with the ball. This is not my preferred bet, but it's like he needs to be very good to come down with those 50-50 balls, and he's very rarely getting layup targets. Arthur Smith supported A.J. Brown. I got news for you. George Pickens is not A.J. Brown. Aiyuk at 30 looking tasty. We got some Aiyuk at like 33 on Underdog. Much later on softer sites, obviously. Let me let my fat cat in. Come on, Knocky. Come say hi, buddy. All this chunky boy does is just kind of meow, walk around, get food. He's a happy dude. Appreciate you, Tony. Liam, would you use your priority waiver to pick up Zach Moss or wait for week 1 to show hidden gems? Tony, I need a little bit more information. How many people in the league? Who would you be dropping? Zach Moss should be rostered in almost every league, unless this is like an 8 to 10 man league. But yeah, I mean, Zach Moss is almost certainly going to be better than anything on the waiver. Keenan, come here. Come here, Keenan. Come here, Keenan. Oh, he's coming. But yeah, Tony, I would rather have like Zach Moss than Jordan Mason. I'd rather have Zach Moss than all of these players. I would drop Jaleel McLaughlin for Zach Moss, but he's got upside in his own right. Could be like a little Darren Sproulsy for the Broncos, but Bengals are the better team, and everyone is just kind of trying to guess on the workload of the Bengals running backs. And what if it's just the Moss show? All right, Naki, give me a second. I gotta make picks now. Yeah, Stroud seems pretty good here. Got the Houston Ravens things going on. All right. Diggs drafter takes him. That's fair. I think the Ferg and be done is good. I think Addison's fine. So let's go Connor. I get barely any James Conner. Just typically don't bet on 29-year-olds. And he typically is just like a little bit more expensive than I want to be going. But when he falls past ADP, and I got a lot of Trey Benson, seems like a good guy to mix in. Gives me a good trio. We got 2 week 14 buys, so a little something to manage here. You don't like this Fat Keenan stuff? You don't like that he's going cheaper? So we could do this like weird Arizona stack where we like go Kyler, James Conner, and then try to hit Michael Wilson and Dortch later. Swift would give me a 4th running back to be done with. Let's do that. This is a very underused build where it's hyper fragile. Like we're going to stop at 4 running backs. Maybe we'll go 5, but this is a defensible group to stop with 4. All these guys catch passes. A couple of them, I'm not worried about their age. And then, like my stream yesterday where I went 4 RB to start. It's kind of like that, but we have 3 wide receivers to anchor our starting spots. Fill out QB, fill out tight end, fill out wide out. Didn't check your exposures often enough. Jack, I don't always either. I'm kind of the mindset that, I'm going to naturally know if I'm taking a player a lot and if I'm always pairing them. B, just let the vibes be what it is. Realize what we're trying to do. We're trying to turn $25 into $1.5 million. I personally am not going to be a spreadsheet nerd or have one of these plugins to be like, oh no, I have Gibbs with Marvin 7.5% of the time, and I need to get Tank Dell with Drake London because I'm pairing him with Michael Pittman. Like, give me a break. We're trying to win $1.5 million. Draft a team. Each team's individual. And let the chips fall in place. Good luck, Devin. Like, don't get me wrong. I go back and I usually look at teams late at night just to look here and there. And I'll check my exposures every once in a while. Sometimes being like, oh, I was kind of surprised I was light on that guy. But I'm not going into the nitty gritty of it. Some people like to do that. I don't know, man. Let's get to the playoffs and then see how it goes. I don't think I was drafting at 6 a.m. Oh, maybe it's 6 a.m. your time? Haha, it's 10 a.m. over here. Imagine drafting the same team twice and getting first or second place. Well, the thing is, even if you drafted the same exact team, pod luck is part of the game. And so one of your teams could have just gotten luckier or unluckier in the pod. And that would impact whether you make the finals. Yeah. Njoku called a day at tight end there. Another player who, I see it for, I like. I think there's a pretty big tier break after him, certainly after Goddard, absolutely after Schultz. But, he got a lot of scammy work with Joe Flacco. I don't know if that's coming back. He is a grown man for sure, so that's fun. It's putting us thinner at wide receiver for sure. Preston sharing some tips here. You saw me checking the board. That's because I was seeing, I want to take Purdy, but doesn't make sense for any of these guys to take Purdy. So I'm going to put Purdy in the queue and let this cat out. Go ahead, bud. Ugh. Very curious about this. Why did you drop Hollywood so much in the ranks? Injury doesn't seem to be that big of an issue. Because I'm worried he's not good anymore. There's not a lot of players who are ranked like this in ESPN analytics, looking at the course of history, who rebound. This is Hollywood Brown last year. This is Michael Gallup. He retired. This is Jahan Dotson. He was so bad he was traded. This is Sky Moore. This is Juju Smith-Schuster. He was cut. This is Alec Pierce, the wind sprint king. This is Quentin Johnston. Here's Hollywood Brown. So, yeah, is it possible he was dogging it? Is it possible he wasn't trying, was playing through injury? Sure, but I'm just worried he's not good anymore. Like, this is alarming when you're in this group of players. There's not, I've looked through for, at the different years for, players who have rebounded, and I haven't found many. One of the wins was, Zay Jones. Zay Jones ranked poorly one year, and then we had that one Zay Jones season. But, Zay Jones was a young player at the time. Here's Zay Jones. He was one of the worst wideouts in 2017, and we did have that one good Zay Jones year. So, yeah, I don't know. Amari Cooper is another one. But again, he was a young player then, so it's a little bit different. So, I don't know, man. Like, I wanted nothing to do with Hollywood in the 5th. I have taken some now that he's much cheaper, just like strategically that makes sense. And even if you're not good, if you're getting open deep, attached to Patrick Mahomes, and you can catch the football, you can have some big games. But personally, I don't want to be having a big bag of Hollywood when I am worried. I think Worthy's better than him. I think Rice is better than him, etc. And there are other bets I'd rather, I'd rather have Hopkins. I'd rather have Addison. I'd rather have Keon Coleman, JSN, Watson, all these guys, Jameson. So I mix them in. On DK, I'm sure he falls to like the hundreds, and that's like a no-brainer. But yeah, I'm just worried he's a little done. Hollywood isn't old. He isn't old, but like he's not rookie year Zay Jones, so absolutely need to get a wideout here. Go Polk. No. We're gonna go Mike Williams. Only because of the week 14 bye. I wanted to take Polk first in hopes that Mike Williams would make it back, but how many BBM 5s do you have left? I have, I think, 6 more. 7 more. Yeah, I don't never believe a pro athlete doesn't try. That's the or Albert Hainsworth is an example, but people wanted to say that about Allen Robinson when he was done. Oh, he didn't try that year. He's going to try with the Rams. I was just like, that year, I was like, no, I'm sorry. And I don't want to take any shots, but some people who people really highly regard as far as like their ability to scout were in on Allen Robinson that year. People have misses. I was not because I'm not. That's not my full process. My process is old player. Like I try to look at a lot of situations logically. And I've always been a Hollywood guy, but that it's alarming to see him ranked on Michael Gallup's level. Like I don't know how anyone can say it's not. And Dwayne McFarland of Fantasy Life did some good work looking at the gotta get a pick in here. Let's go Downs. Also week 14 bye, but whatever. He looked at the R squared of ESPN Analytics. And I'm sure he found like no relationship. But that's not how I think ESPN Analytics is valuable. In my opinion, it's probably like, do we care if a guy is ranked wide receiver 45 versus wide receiver 55? Probably not. But we probably do care to bucket them. So we probably care if someone is a top 10 player. We probably care if someone is a bottom 10 player. That's how I would look at it. And I kind of plan on doing some off-season work with that sometime in January or whatever. Just looking at the different buckets and seeing how those players have performed throughout history. Ron mentioned this to me. I haven't watched it, but I have to. He said he rehashed the crazy chat beef. I gotta take a chance. I'm gonna be honest, I've never looked at PFF. I probably should, but I haven't. If I can't afford the max BBM, is it still worth doing any? In my opinion, yes. Like, if I was in the financial situation where I could not max and I wanted to get some teams in though to try to turn $25 into $1.5 million, I would do 5 entries. If you don't want to because someone like me has 150, then don't. But no, can you win without 150? Of course. The year, BBM 3, I think that person only had 1 entry. My friend Tolan got 5th in drafters last year, total points off of 2 entries. So second last year was single bullet. Yeah, like when you put less entries in, you're risking less dollars. So your risk of ruin is pretty low, and you're also less likely to win, is what it is. Do you take O-line into account for your rankings? Cade, somewhat. Like if a team has a really good O-line, a la the Lions, I care. If a team has a really bad O-line, I care somewhat. But like you can get in trouble there. For example, this is why the Drake May discourse is so funny to me, because the Houston Texans lost 3 of their starting O-linemen. There's only 5. They lost 3 out of their 5 starting O-linemen by like October. They started 16 different O-linemen last year. 16. You only start 5. 16 different combos or whatever. So the Texans O-line was trash. The Jaguars O-line was also trash. So I don't know what's like, is CJ Stroud just that much better than Trevor? Is the Houston scheme just that much better than the Jaguars? Probably. Did the Texans just maybe get luckier? Maybe. Did teams defend a rookie Stroud differently than Trevor Lawrence? Probably. So like you can get in trouble though, just like outright fading a good team because of O-line. So this is why going all those RBs when I did is a challenging task. Let's see what ADP we're at here. 153. Let's get a QB we like. I also have Watson, but we're going Rodgers today. We got a weird Rodgers stack with Rodgers versus James Cook week 17 and Mike Williams. And we're going to stop at 2 QBs here. Could have instead gone, of course, Watson with Njoku. And then we're just going to start hammering wide out. Good O-line is necessary for statue QBs. Henny, I think CJ Stroud just proved you wrong there. Guess who else is a statue QB and has a terrible O-line? Tua. Miami's O-line is awful. Why doesn't it matter? Because Mike McDaniel makes sure that Tua gets the ball out of his hands in like 1.9 seconds. If you throw the football before 2 seconds, it really doesn't matter how bad your O-line is. So I think scheme matters. If you have a shit O-line and a statue QB and an offensive coordinator who's like, let's design plays that take 5 seconds, okay, that matters. All right. We could go Watson still. Let's go Jalen McMillan today, though. He won't make it back. People are pretty hyped about him. I'm going to put this under my coffee and be right back. Sorry about that. Let's see. Thoughts on Devin Singletary? Not much has changed there. He's presumably going to be, a ball dominant player for the Giants to start the year. He's not an explosive player. He just is not even capable of running an 80-yard touchdown. He's just too slow. He's really good at making guys miss. I don't see a lot of touchdown equity attached to the Giants. Tyrone Tracy is a very athletic man, so if he is it possible he could usurp Singletary? Yes. Obviously, Brian Dable is familiar with Singletary, so signed him for a reason. He's a fine guy, but I prefer some other players around his cost. And I'm a Singletary dude usually, but it's just a little rich. Do we think BBM5 will be filled by tonight? Absolutely. Yes. Before midnight East Coast time. Some new underdog contests. We'll take a peep at those. I'm not going to be I cannot let myself not max BBM5. That'd be bad juju going into the year. So, wasn't really planning to go third QB, but I did think that if Baker was going to make it back, I was going to do it. Rodgers is pretty shaky as a second, and Purdy can have bad games himself. Like, neither of these guys are incredibly high floor players, so might as well get a third shot on goal. The team so far: Purdy, Rodgers, Mayfield, Gibbs, Cook, Connor Swift, AJ Brown, Tank, Flowers, Mike Williams, Josh Downs, McMillions, Kittle, Njoku. Reports out at Colts camp is that apparently Downs was just straight up out targeting Michael Pittman in camp. So it might take him a little bit off his high ankle sprain, but yeah, I think he's a pretty good bet. We have DFS content through the year. Yeah, brother. I'll be rolling out my in-season content soon. Is Aiyuk going in the second regularly now? He will. People may not be hip to it yet just because his ADP is here. And the news broke last night after a lot of people had already done streams. So the people who want to be told about it before they do it, they may not realize oh yeah, Aiyuk should be going higher again. So yeah, I don't see him remaining in the third for much longer. But he might, just because people are used to that price. Market's weird like that sometimes. Getting pretty barren here. Yeah, let's go DeMarcus. I take quite a bit of Jordan Whittington, but DeMarcus Robinson went on a hell of a run to end the year and is going to be the wide receiver 3 to start the year. Even if he's just an early, even if I'm just getting some production to start the year while Mike Williams ramps up, that's worth it in itself. While Josh Downs ramps up, No, I agree. A lot of people don't realize how good Aiyuk is. They just don't understand. Yeah, I would take Aiyuk over Rice, but they're close in new contests. So a bit of a weird team here, but I like it. Build some teams like this where you take 3 wideouts early. You kind of try to depend on their strength, build out your depth at other positions, and then take a bunch of flyers late round. I mean, Mike Williams is ready for week 1, so pretty nice price on him. He's obviously not going to be himself week 1. The timeline for Breece Hall last year was like he was ready for week 1, but really he ramped up by like week 5. And if that's Mike Williams' timeline, that's pretty sick. If you're getting like Mike Williams of the old. Who's going to be Broncos number 2? I would say Josh Reynolds. Who's your 101? CeeDee Lamb. The thing about wide receivers is they are inherently safer picks. And, you know, like I see the mega upside for CMC. We all know the mega upside for CMC. CMC's 28. Got banged up last year. So it's never going to be surprising for a running back to get hurt. I still draft them, but I don't have the same concerns with CeeDee Lamb. And it's just incredibly rare to find a wideout who can get 15 targets in a game. I did my home league draft last night with my college friends. I'm the commissioner. Good time. 28 is actually supposed to be your physical prime. At least that's what I heard on like an NFL broadcast when I was 12, and I've always just accepted that as fact. I mean, I'm sure it's actually like 24, 26, or 22, something like that. Okay, Devontae Adams targets aren't worth as much as a CeeDee Lamb target, though, you know? Yeah, like you got to be careful about like some of the nerds out there, the nerd analysts, no shots, but like they like to say things like this player only had a 14% target share or 17% target share. Like I've seen this said about Khalil Shakir. I mean, that ignores that Khalil Shakir got targeted more down the stretch. B, it ignores the fact that all these vacated targets occurred. And let's make some picks. Let's get Trey Tucker. Why not? And then C, a Josh Allen target is worth a lot more than a Bo Nix target. Significantly more. Especially in half-point PPR. You know? A Josh Allen target is worth way more than the Daniel Jones target. Sprinters peak at 24 or 25. It's fair. Lamb, Debo, Adams. Seems like a good start to me. GM. Yeah, I agree. It's all about how valuable is that. Like I've always been a top-down offense guy. Like years past, people have been like, "Oh, let's get like DJ Moore hit last year, but in previous years he didn't." I wasn't as into Kyle Pitts last year with Desmond Ridder. People they want to talk about talent, and I'll be like, okay, but it's not the only thing. So Khalif Raymond plays the 49ers, gives us some correlation. Third wide receiver. Matt Collins isn't a 0. Aguilar's not a 0. Tyler Boyd's not a 0. Let's go Khalif. Brings us to the team of Brock Purdy, Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield, Jahmyr Gibbs, James Cook, James Conner, Swift, Not a lot of teams doing this. One early, one, semi-early, 2 middle, done. 3 quarterbacks who can spike, correlated, of course. AJ Brown, Tank Flowers, and then Mike Williams, Downs, McMillan, Robinson, Tucker, Raymond. Don't feel like I have any zeros in there, so I think it can work. And then, of course, Kittle and Njoku, 2 tight ends who can be tight end 1 in any given week. Why'd you put yourself twice in the thumbnail? I like it. How much Levis have you been taking this year? I like the Levis bet. I just don't know if I have like as much as I probably don't have a ton in lower stakes. Mainly because I don't get Calvin Ridley a lot. And even when I have Hopkins, I typically am hitting like this range. But I have some Levis in high stakes. Let's let this draft finish and name it. Number 144, 830 streamed. Again, it's a Purdy, Rogers, Mayfield team. Gibbs, Cook, Connor Swift, Brown, Tank, Flowers, Mike, Downs, McMillan, Robinson, Tucker, Raymond, Kittle, Njoku. Week 17 correlation, James Conner, Demarcus Robinson, Kittle, Raymond, Purdy, Gibbs, Rogers, Cook, Mike Williams, Tank and Zay. And that is it. Pretty nice team. Let's do another. Never lucky. Can I ask why people are picking Neighbors over Adams? I mean, I think they're similar bets. One is just younger and people are excited about him. Adams has fall off risk along with age. Adams also has outs to getting traded. Love when the usernames are so long they just merge into each other. This dude's name is King Henry Dad or King Henry the Dank 42069. I'll read that again. King Henry the Dank 42069. We got Scam Newton. We got Call Maz you like. I'll definitely have a thread next year of usernames I encounter. I've seen other people do it. Seems like a fun thing. Dude, Weed 420. Is Justin Jefferson a good top 5 pick? He's fine, Charles. I prefer some other players over him, but he's obviously in that tier. Yeah, I like the Jacksonville, Tennessee side. I got a lot of Trevor. My friend was just in that draft, texting me about it. Been having some weirdness with the clocks where you like sometimes the clock just barely lags on me. We're gonna go Chase here if he's available. And if not, we'll go Sun God. Okay. Jamar Chase. We haven't seen the blow up year from Chase. Best year was his rookie year. I wish it showed games played here. I'm not going to pull that up because my computer will get all wonky, but wasn't 17 games either of these past 2 seasons. And started getting used a little bit as a shorter ADOT guy a little bit last year. So really feel like we could get that nuke year from Chase. And people will learn to respect him. Because right now, there's, like Davis is like, what? Chase on the same level Jefferson? No. Let's see. Let's look it up on my phone. Games played. Games played, not perfect, of course, if he left midway, but he played 12 games in 2022. He played 16 games last year, but I don't feel like he was fully playing all those games. And of course, Burrow got hurt as well. That's absurd. Chase is the DK Metcalf of elite. I get what you're saying somewhat. I'm big on betting on Burrow. The Burrow resurgence. Let's go Debo here. Anytime I can try to go top 6 player, Debo, and then pray Aiyuk falls here too, I'm going to do it. Got a CeeDee Lamb, Debo, Aiyuk last night. Pretty fun. Bummer. Aiyuk goes. Bread Zeppelin. Pretty good name, Wholesome, funny, witty. Not a jargon like this. Like, come on. We gotta be cutting this off. Like, what happens if I maximize my screen? Can I get those usernames to show any space between them? No. No, we cannot. Let's get this resized for you guys. Can't really get the one holes players, but you get who they're drafting here. I mean, I don't know if Chase is getting a contract this year. We'll get Mike Evans. I prefer a guy like Metcalf and Moore over Evans. I just finally made that call, but Evans still a good bet and bit of a tear break after he goes. Like, these guys are always available. I like these guys, but Thoughts on the Panthers? Win prediction? I would need to look at the schedule to give you a full win prediction, but they're gonna be better. They're gonna show improvement. They're not gonna light the world on fire. But yeah, improved O-line, improved weapons. I think there will be hope in there. Grown-ass man wideout room? For sure, man. Chase can catch a 5-yard ball and go score. Debo can do that as well. Mike Evans can just moss people. I've historically been a Godwin over Mike guy. And yeah, maybe it's a Godwin year. He's in the slot, yada, yada. But I'm of the mindset that Baker gelled really well with Mike. You know, his skill set's pretty good for half point. Why would that change? Am I the only one that feels better teams were drafted early on versus now? Ant, I'm sure you're not alone in that feeling. This is why I'm a proponent of drafting throughout the year. I really don't try to think about it. But you're drafting different teams now. They may be worse. Or maybe you'll need a guy like Samaje Perine to win. Sure. ETN, anchor RB. I'd rather have ETN than Pacheco. I'd rather have ETN than Derrick Henry. The market just kind of bored with him, I guess. So still like ETN. Eric gives the other opinion. I like my sleepers now more than 3 months ago. Well, maybe yours are, but I don't know. I definitely have some sick early teams. Cheap Rasheed Rice, Braylon Allen in the 18th, Jalen McMillan in the 18th, Jerome Ford in the 140s. Like, I definitely feel like my 0 running back teams are not as good now. And I think that's a good thing to think through. Like, my 0 running back teams, like my really punted off 0 RB teams of early in the season, had guys like Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, Jerome Ford. And now I'm getting guys like Braylon Allen, Jordan Mason. So it's different, but probably not as good. Really depends, Ian. You got to draft like you're right. So gotta adjust based on how you allocate your capital. Yeah, the really only things that happened this year is we got like weird FUD contract wise. We got this like Kyron FUD. And then of course we've gotten these like minor injuries to guys like Hopkins, Downs, Addison. We had the Rasheed Rice cycle, but nothing quite like last year. No, Anthony, I'm not worried about that. Wasn't worried about Aiyuk. Wasn't worried about Lamb. Not worried about Chase. You're welcome, copy. So thanks for putting me on Jalen McMillan. Yeah, he's a guy who let's make a pick here. Let's go Cook again. Cook and ETN, also a fun pairing. McMillan is a guy who I draft like the first couple weeks of the season. I just kept on taking him in the 18th and 20th. And then he got like just a little bit more expensive, but I don't have as much now. Primarily probably because I'm building a lot of 0 RB, so I just don't need wide receiver then, but I don't have as much McMillan as I would think I believe, just because I drafted so much early. But in some, like, very early DK high stakes, where I can kinda, like, hedge my portfolio, like, I have McMillan in the 20th round and stuff. So, we're packed there. Liam, you look buff as shit in the thumbnail? Because I am, brother. You only see this of me. Shit brick house. Played rugby in college. Fun fact. You do any redraft 12 man? Yeah, Randy. We do some high stakes redraft content here. You can see that on the channel, looking back at my streams. No, I don't think Dalvin Cook will beat out Rico. I mean, look, guys, I don't know what science is available. Is it possible guys can, like, get stem cell therapy or something like that to, like, reverse the fountain of youth? Probably not. He couldn't, he couldn't do anything last year. I don't see why things would change. But yeah, that's my opinion there. Yeah. Let's get ooh. So Richardson's fun. So is Rashad White. Let's go White. We got Mike Evans. We got White. This gives me 3 running backs to depend on. 3 wideouts too. A lot of people are just like, they don't like White. They're worried about Bucky Irving. They don't think he was efficient. Me personally, I mean, terrible by this guy to not take Anthony Richardson when he has Michael Pittman. I guess we shouldn't be surprised that King Henry Da Dank for 2069 might not be fully with it. But yeah, for me, okay, could Bucky Irving beat Rashad White out? Sure. So same with every running back. But he's young. He catches passes, and he's really good at that. He's like a really good pass catcher. He plays the Panthers week 17. And he's probably just going to remain a workhorse in the offense. And a lot of his rushing inefficiency, like, that stuff is not sticky year over year always. And they improved their O-line. They drafted, like, a center. Like, their interior O-line was pretty bad last year. So give me Rashad White. I don't think James Cook and Rashad White and Ken Walker are meaningful different bets than Isaiah Pacheco. People are just going Chiefs go Burr. And there's a reason why Pacheco started the year here when more sharper drafters are drafting, and now it's changing, in my opinion. I was a wing. It's pretty fast. 4'4", 4'5", 40. I wasn't big. I only weighed like 150 pounds. Probably weigh 175 now. Yeah, Lad. I mean, Kamara's kind of fun, where I get a 4th running back who, yeah, let's do Kamara. Why not? Some synergy here. Young catches passes, young catches passes, young catches passes. Old catches passes. 3 week 12 buys, not ideal. We may just eat the 0, or we might add a 5th. Yeah, I'm not fast anymore, but I was pretty fast. I wrote about Zach Moss's potential to be Mostert like back in May. When you don't weigh a lot, you can be pretty fast. I don't know. I never timed it, but I was the fastest kid at my college. Tolan, who I did a stream with, like he played soccer at our school. I was faster than him. We raced one time, dusted him. Why does Waddle go so high in these? People are excited with Waddle that by the way, Waddle and Tyreek, I think, are both not practicing. So, if something happens to Tyreek, Waddle probably smashes. Waddle has a great offensive coordinator. Waddle is really fast. He's a good wide receiver. He's not my favorite player in the NFL to draft. I mix him in. I don't like his Week 17 matchup against the Browns defense, the Browns defense might just be the best defense in the NFL. So don't really want to be targeting that cold weather game, Tua in the cold, But I see it. Waddle historically has done well against more zone defense schemes. And maybe Waddle just overtakes Tyreek. Like if Tyreek loses a step, he's not Tyreek. I think Jonnu Smith can have big games. I don't really see him being a super high volume guy. Swift would be like 5th running back, catches passes. Where's the Higgins drafter? He's over here. Whatever. Let's do this. Don't try this at home. The other thing about, I still want to be betting on Swift's talent. I like all these running backs. I still think Swift is talented. He got paid a lot of money. He's on a really good team. It's a little concerning. Like, Khalil Herbert's going to play a lot. Roshan Johnson could steal some goal line. And then Velus Jones, he could be used like Cordell Patterson somewhat this year. So really thin to only have 3 wide receivers. Obviously, I need these 3 to be very good. Obviously, I'm done at 5 running backs here. But Swift's been falling lately off of this, Velus Jones and stuff news. So I want to be taking shots there and love the Bears matchup against the Seahawks Week 17. So definitely don't have a lot of teams like this. Clearly, we're getting some high T starts in the morning. Wake up ready to go. We got the weatherman. Come on, Luis. This can't be your mindset. First off, appreciate the love. But I think people legitimately think this about, when they find a content creator they like with fantasy football, something they think about is, I don't want my league mates to see this. Come on, guys. Help me out. Don't do that. Saying please don't blow up. Next year's my blow up year. I'm going to be doing more long form video next year. Someone said that to Ron yesterday. Ron's already blown up. What do you mean? Ron's got 50K. Ron makes casual long form content and has 50,000 YouTube subscribers. That's blown. Do you factor in teams or QB's pace into it? Rodgers is a slow pace. Definitely something to be aware of. The Commanders, they're probably going to be a very fast-paced team. the Colts are going to be a fast-paced team. Aaron Rodgers is almost always a slow-paced team. But this guy's drawing very live to take naked Burrow, by the way. Just like how he's drafting. But we'll see. But I'm not like making hard. Yeah, so we're going to just take Burrow here. I'm not like going overboard on that. Yeah, I know. I know, Randy. We can all be better, right? I'm over 30% James Cook, and you may be the only person that supports that as a Bills fan. Am I the only one that thinks Ray Davis may not be goal line back? He isn't as big as everyone thinks he is. You know, Austin, like, I like Cook. I like Ray Davis. I've drafted both of them a lot. I've drafted Ray Davis because the Bills were using Latavius Murray and Ty Johnson and like giving him dump off passes and etc. And I think Ray Davis can do that and just be better. And yeah, he could be the goal line back. Or he could just be like really good, which it seems like he might be, and overtake. And then I draft James Cook because he was like fourth in scrimmage yards last year. He didn't score enough touchdowns. He is one of the best route running backs in the league, where unfortunately his hands are kind of made of stone. He dropped like 4 touchdowns last year, maybe more. But the fact that you can run these routes, get open and get targeted like that, if you do catch the ball, which like I'm inherently going to just bet on players' ability to catch the ball and improve at that, he could be a league winner, you know? And yeah, maybe James Cook gets used more by the goal line, right? Like Devon Achane gets used by the goal line. Cook weighs more than him. Raheem Mostert was the Dolphins goal line back. Cook weighs more than him. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he can't. And at worst, let's say Cook goes into a pure timeshare. He's the 1B to Ray Davis. We know Cook is still young, will catch passes, and is explosive. I mean, we're getting real thin at wideout, but why not? Purdy and Burrow. So really strong QB room. Really strong running back room. 3 good wide receivers. Probably just going to have to go 2 tight end. Just to get more wide receivers, just so we can go 9 wide receivers. Obviously, we're done at quarterback too. And I didn't need to go Purdy. I could have tried to go Baker later, but yeah, I mean, we're not going to go Baker now. Having running back wide receiver correlation is just a benefit anyways. Like, I mean, the players you wanted last year from the Bucks were White and Mike Evans. I think there's worse processes than just drafting those players again. Josh Allen's the goal line back. Yeah, bets. When the Bills need to win games, I agree with you. However, maybe he will be to start the year, or maybe the Bills will try to limit his hits to start the year, something they've historically done. Takes a special person to bring the energy for week 11 trade target videos. I'll definitely have a waiver wire article on beatbestball.com and probably a waiver wire video too, you know? I mean, I interrupt people too sometimes. Like, it's just part of the content game, you know? Like, also there's lag sometimes. So Yeah, does Davis interrupt people? Of course. Like that's, that's part of why you love Davis. Love or hate him. Do I interrupt people sometimes? Yeah. Like we're all trying to get our words in. And I'm ADHD, so like I think of something and I'm trying to get it out. Um, but yeah, I love Davis. I think he's just flat out hilarious and clever. Yeah. So I mean, I like Goddard, but probably prudent to take Jerry Judy here. The Browns got Ken Dorsey, Bills offensive coordinator. They were near the league leaders in pass rate with him, so that's the hope for Judy and co. And Judy had 170 points 2 years ago. That's the other hope for him. Gonna refill this water, take a quick piss. Be right back. We made it. I think I'll probably try to get my last BBM5 on a walk in nature, something like that. Usually try to end my last BBM5 with the Josh Allen stack as a Bills fan. Josh Downs again. Come on down. I've been, Downs. We're buying the dips on these injured players. What content will you do? Once the season starts, I'll have DFS content. I'll have I'm still figuring it out, Skibbity. I'll definitely have some battle royale drafts on Underdog. I'll probably have a Sunday morning cram show most weeks. I want to get something going with Davis where we do a weekly DFS show together. So if you watch Davis and he goes live, pressure him into that. I just think Davis and I's user base overlaps a lot, and people like to see us make content together. And historically, like, the year I won BBM2, Karain and Davis were like my number one most often guests. Crane went to go win BBM3 that year, maybe because he was a guest on mine. But I don't really see them during the season as much. So it would be nice to keep in touch. Davis Maddock. No, I do not believe that Aiyuk accepted a same deal from a month ago. I think that's them being weird. Whatever. ADP is fake. Do I need to take Yoshi Voss now? Definitely not. He's an ADP of 190. I don't need any running backs though. And yeah, I could have taken one of these tight ends and then taking Yoshi Voss here, but just in case, like I'll take any tight end. I wanted Yoshi Voss, though, on the Burrow team. I got 5th in the puppy. I don't know. Not usually, Owen. I mean, maybe subconsciously. Austin says that's the only thing he considers, though. Yeah, that would have been a fun Super Bowl. Hell yeah, Bets. That's a win, brother. That's a win. Any strategy thoughts on non-tournament sit and go? Depends on the size of it, if it's like 12-man or not. But yeah, just build structurally correct teams. Probably try to beat your league mates at QB and elite tight end. I don't know. I don't really do cash game best ball. I was in a 14-man league, but I was picked 10. I don't know why people read that tweet as me being pick 14. I think I was like pick 9 or 10. Dude, Jamar Chase is probably the 101 or AJ Brown in coolness leagues. I think why Aaron Rodgers is so cheap is partially because he's not cool, you know? So yeah, this is why taking Yoshi Voss was fine because all green got drafted here. And McMillan was highest by like ADP. But I don't really want to add another buck. Let's get a tight end though. We've been buying the dip on Cole Kmet. Not that they're, we took Kmet at pick 163. Is there any functional difference taking Kmet at pick 150 and then Yoshi Voss here? No. But still, like, yeah, is Gerald ever going to play some? Sure. But can Kmet still score 6 touchdowns in a season? Yes. So that's really what I care about. For managed, we're probably not into Kmet, but we're not playing managed over here. If you get shot, you are the coolest player in the world to Owen. It is very cool of Brian Robinson to get shot. Who's the least the least cool player is a very easy answer. Who's the 101 of least cool? Who do you guys think I'm going to say? This is a very easy answer. Who is the least cool player in the NFL? It's like so easy. What are your guys' guesses? Nope, not Rodgers. Mahomes, no. I was thinking of Cousins. Yes, Cousins is who I was thinking of. But now that I think about it, yeah, it's probably Russ Wilson. But Cousins is pretty uncool himself. Like, Cousins actually is cool. He, like, plays along with stuff. But, yeah, I think Cousins and Russ, easy 101s and 102s in that league. Let's go likely. Gives me I mean, both of these guys have high single week upside. And we didn't invest heavily at tight end, so it seems good to get players like that. So far, the team is Joe Cool and Brock Purdy, Travis Etienne, James Cook, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift. So A lot of running back points. Jamar Chase, Debo, Mike Evans are my anchors. Judy and Downs, some upside swings. Yoshi Voss, we're hoping for some spikes. Komet and Likely. I might just need to stop at 2 tight ends and to get 3 more wideouts, but I think it is okay to go 3 tight ends, 2 wideouts. Yeah, clearly need something from Downs and Judy. Need these 3 to be pretty special too. What happened to Hunter Renfro? It's just not very good, dude. Life goes quick. Favorite football player of all time? It was Doug Flutie for a long time, but I don't know today. We'll say Josh. Both these guys are fine. Steele or Mitchell. Steele is more likely to give you points to start the year. Mitchell probably has higher single week upside. Josh Dobbs' favorite player is a wild pick. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if someone said that. Sure. Luke McCaffrey, another Luke McCaffrey team. Why not? 10 more to 6K? That's not how that works. 10 away from 5,600. Unless I've gained 300 subscribers in the last hour. You could say this about anyone, big boy. Cam Newton got a 2.65. Honestly, Pulse, I haven't heard of this report. Probably because I don't care. Like, this is just kind of like drama to me. And I don't believe it. So, yeah, I don't care about that. Is it possible it's true? Sure. Do I think drama occurs in every team's locker room? Probably, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm honestly, when I stream, I don't even really look at what other people are doing unless they do something totally out of the blue. Yeah, New York media just likes to do this. In general, I would recommend you fade news like that. News. I'll have my team work on this, Crumb. People are getting excited about P. Ryan. I don't know if I have any in BBM5. I have them in some high stakes. I got some P. Ryan in round 20. And I think people just want to get some shares. He's functionally not that different of a bet. He's 29, though, I think. All right, so like these guys I know are going to score fantasy points this year. I'm pretty sure Chark will too, but he's banged up, so I think like Whittington, Washington are higher upside swings, but this team desperately needs guys just to score some fantasy points this year and have some big games, which I know Trey Tucker will. Yeah, like that whole range is fine. Judy, Gabe Davis, Cooks, Wicks, Polk, Mike Williams, a little bit of a teardrop to Mooney. They're all similar bets. You're scared of Noah Brown overtaking Luke McCaffrey? Not really. The way I could see it playing out is, I mean, I don't think they're functionally competing for the same role. I mean, one, Noah Brown was cut in favor for a 6th-round rookie pick like Xavier Hutchinson. So it's possible that even though Noah Brown has had some big fantasy games, that he's just like not good anymore. Two, I think your 3 wide receiver set could be Terry, Noah Brown, and Luke McCaffrey, with probably McCaffrey moving into the slot, but he's not slot only. I think Noah Brown's a pretty good guy to mix in, especially on Daniel stacks. But yeah, I mean, Luke McCaffrey, just 3rd-round pick, rookie. Also rushes the football somewhat. Like, he probably won't break out, but he is an upside swing. So Greg Dulcich gives me a 3rd tight end that correlates with Bengals game. Would mean I don't get another wide receiver stab. Cleve Raymond correlates with the 49ers thing. Roman Wilson, Corley, rookies, Chark. Let's do Cleve again. If I didn't click it, I would not have gotten a wide receiver, so good thing I did. Pretty sure I ended my last team with Tucker and Raymond, so we're just running that vibe today. So this team, Joe Cool and Brock Purdy. Joe Burrow seems obsessive about football, so that's a good trait if he stays healthy. ETN, Cook, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, Swift, Jamar Chase, Debo, Mike Evans, Judy, Josh Downs, Yoshi Voss, Luke McCaffrey, Trey Tucker, Khalif Raymond. So clearly need some either well-timed weeks or 2 to 3 of these guys to just be breakouts. And then Komet and Likely. I wanted to look at something. All right, Jermaine Burton got drafted here. If Burton was available, I would have paired him with Yoshi Voss, just being like, whatever, 2 shots at wideout 3. Plus, if Higgins gets hurt, Burton will probably fill in there along with Yoshi Voss. So, but yeah, I like the team. Obviously, the tight end room is not the best in the world, but they both have the ability to spike at the right time. Week 17 correlation of Purdy, Debo, Khalif. Just the Bengals score a lot on the Broncos through the air. And then the Bucs beat up on the Panthers. And also Alvin Kamara and Trey Tucker. Kamara goes for 30. Tucker goes for 30. We win $1.5 million. Let's get it. And also a couple Bears pieces. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need to get some breakfast. Can you show? All right, let's do this first. Can you show us your first BBM draft this year and what the ADP back was like back then? Yeah, we can do that, man. Let's name this bad boy first. Number 145. 8:30 streamed. Number 1. Oh, and also let's look at the new contest before I close out here. So my number 1 draft was a Lamb, Olave, Mike Evans start. Olave was a little bit rare here, but he's fallen back here. James Cook and Kincaid got 2 Bills at running back and tight end. Hopkins, obviously he's gotten a little bit cheaper. Kittle at a nice price, so we went double elite tight end. Prescott to pair with Lamb. Jonathan Brooks and Singletary, 2 running backs that pair well together. Singletary points to start, Brooks later. Jaden Daniels, he's obviously gotten more expensive now. Just took him naked. Ricky Pearsall, he's gotten a lot cheaper. Leggett, he's gotten like minorly cheaper. Ray Davis and Bucky Irving, they've both gotten more expensive. Luke McCaffrey to pair with Daniels. Evan Hull, he's on the practice squad, so like he's probably a 0, but when you're on the practice squad, you have outs. You have outs to contribute points. A team could sign you, the starters could get injured and you get elevated, etc. And then Jalen McMillan in the 18th round. So the team is Dak and Daniels, Cook, Brooks, Singletary, Ray, Bucky Irving, Evan Hull. Again, probably a 0 here. Lamb, Olave, Mike, Hopkins, Pearsall, Leggett, McCaffrey, McMillan, Kincaid, and Kittle. Nothing too wildly different. Other noteworthy players. Rice was pick 58. Rome was pick 39. He was more expensive to start the year. JMO pick 100. Ferguson pick 101. Nothing else super standing out. I mean, not too different of a team that you can build today. You know, like you could just swap the ADPs on Ray and Bucky versus Pearsall and Leggett. So I like the team. Nothing crazy. Yeah, I had a lot of Hull early. So yeah, new contest. Well, first off, they dropped the Dog Bowl, which is one of their daily drafts. So I'll definitely have some content doing Dog Bowl drafts. And if you win, you get a qualifying ticket to try to win $1 million. I'll have to read about that. And also they dropped the Golden 4 single entry, 10K up top. The Hound Dog 3, $6, 20K up top. 5 entry max. And of course, BBM 5. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, join the Discord, links below. Might be back tonight. Probably have a stream this weekend. Got some drafts to do, got some writing to do. Peace out.